Maybe. Maybe not. Maybe fuck yourself.
What the fuck, Mark Wahlberg? I don't know. Maybe fuck yourself. By the way, how's your mother? Anyway, that just came out of left field, Mark. Just really uncalled for. What a butthole. Anyway, I hope you guys are having a good day. A lot to get into in today's show. I started things off by calling somebody a butthole. There you go. Things should be good. Anyway, hit that subscribe button wherever you're listening. Don't forget today's show is presented to you by High Society Cannabis Dispo and Lounge, and of course, Bet Online. Bet Online is the world's most trusted betting platform and your number one source for everything football. From preseason NFL to college kicking off, Bet Online has every stat, every matchup, and even live odds and spreads while the games are being played. And if you think you know your stuff, which, let's be honest, you probably do, there's nothing wrong with that. You need to get in on the winner-take-all $300,000 NFL Survivor Pool for this upcoming season. Now, when the games are all over, head on over to their online casino, get in on the game of blackjack or poker, or even unwind with one of their over 150 slot games. Go to betonline.ag right now and use promo code BLEAV. That's BLEAV. And you're going to get in on the action. It's Bet Online. The game starts here. It's kind of weird in my house right now. Kids are off at school. Wife's on a business trip. I'm all alone. Oh, my God, I'm home alone. What is that? We watched the movie Home Alone the other day. So dumb. Like, what a dumb kid Kevin McAllister is. Okay? Real quick. Sorry. I'm watching the movie, and I have two young kids. And I'm thinking, guys, if somebody is trying to break into the house, what are you going to do? Guess what they say? Call the police. Guess what he didn't do? He didn't call the police. Now, Kevin's mom did from France or wherever the fuck they were. And then they had a shitty police department. They're like, so your kid's home alone? I'm eating a donut. Blah, blah, blah. It was like so fucking annoying. He should have called the police. Jesus Christ, does he not know anything about child abduction and murder? He needs to be watching some more Dateline NBC. Let's scare put the fear of God into these kids. Okay? Somebody's tried to break in, call 911. Don't try to, shoot them with your BB gun. Fucking stupid kids. Stupid. So next time you watch it, it's going to drive you nuts. At what point, Kevin McAllister, are you going to wait until you call the police? How bad does it have to get? You dumb little shit. Now he's like 40-some years old. Anyway, you know what we need to do? Let's jump into the headlines.
Let's go! Let's go!
And now, here are the headlines.
There's gonna be a meeting between your ass and the palm of my hand if you don't get off the shed. Now, get off the shed!
The reason why I play that is there's a new study coming out of Penn State. They just wrapped it up last month in July. And it says jokes are the key to raising good kids. Okay, I'm right there with you. I like to screw around with the kids. Sometimes when you're just too stern, which I have a problem with that. It's just like, you need to follow the rules. But then when I realize when I joke around, they tend to listen a little bit better. And my wife does a really good job with that with my son. There's times where he gets frustrated and then she'll say something and he'll be like, Mom, sorry. He doesn't sound like that, but you see what I'm saying? It kind of diffuses the situation. They said humor can teach people cognitive flexibility, relieve stress, and promote creative problem solving and resilience. That's according to Benjamin Levy. He's the lead author of the study. So a recent survey of over 2,000 mothers and fathers with kids under the age of 6 found that the majority of adults, 92%, feel that engaging in playful activity with their children is important for their overall growth and development. Respondents, too, indicated that silly pastimes such as dancing, tossing the ball back and forth, or getting in a game of duck, duck, goose. That's like if they're really little. My kids are 9 and 11. If I play duck, duck, goose with them, they're just going to look at me and walk away. They say, but for the smaller kids, they say that's a great way to share a few jokes with the kids. Researchers determined that humor not only positively affects adults in relationships with their parents too, but that it too benefits his or her bond with their own children. And they added on more than half of the participants said that they were raised by people who used humor, and 71.8% agreed that humor can be an effective parenting tool. The majority said they do or plan to use humor with their children and believe that it has more potential benefit than harm. So basically what we're saying is dick jokes and fart jokes for kids. It's how to make good people. You're welcome. The more you know. This also works in business. Says in business, humor has been shown to help reduce hierarchies, create better environments for collaboration and creativity, and diffuse tension. I agree with that to a point. You can have it there, but overall, as the manager, you can sprinkle that in, but I need whoever's in charge to be in charge and not be somebody that fucks around constantly. In fact, you can joke around as the manager, but when you put your foot down, it needs to be put down firmly. So you need to be able to do both, because you can't just lean totally on being silly. Same thing with the raising your kids. It's fine to have a sense of humor over things, but there's times where you do need to be stern and firm with whatever you're talking about, whatever you're trying to correct. And also, you can't use dick jokes and fart jokes in business, because somebody's gonna get mad. Scott, why do you think you're in HR's office today? Probably because I said, a couple dick jokes and then wrap things up with my only fart joke that I know. They're like, what? Okay, why don't you go ahead and explain that to me? Okay, by the way, this is the only fart joke. This is the only joke I know. There are 239 beans in a can. Do you know why? Now tell us, Scott, why are there only 239 beans in a can? Because if you add one more, it's 240. You're like, that's stupid. But you're going to remember. 240. 240. My goodness. I don't know if I could do this, but I respect the shit out of it. And I completely understand why this happened. There was a Japanese man who's set to retire by 45 years old because he's only been eating rice and vegetables for 21 years straight. But listen, I get it. A lot of money is quote unquote wasted on food. It says his journey began in the early 2000s when he was determined to save 100 million yen, which is right around 640,000 US, and escape the grind of corporate life. He adopted a minimalist lifestyle that involves basically eating just rice and vegetables. Now, for 21 years, he scrimped and saved and is resorting to use the summer heat to cook and sweat. What? He uses the summer heat to cook sweet potatoes. Sweat potatoes. God, I'm stupid. Sweet potatoes on his colleague's car windshield and living without air conditioning or heating. Not worth it, dude. Work till you're 90. You need to have air conditioning. Jesus. Although he succeeded and he saved 135 million yen or 860,000 American earlier this year, the yen's recent depreciation has severely diminished his savings, leaving him in question leaving him to question the true value of his sacrifices. Yeah, that sucks. He busted his ass, saved a whole bunch of money. He's ready to go buy a steak dinner. And then, boom, the value of the yen goes right into shitter. That sucks. But I appreciate the dedication. I mean, he earned it. He worked, and then every day he stuck to the plan of saving money. Dude, like last night, we celebrated my daughter's adoption day. It's the day that she officially, according to the state of Colorado and the United States, that she was officially our daughter. And, she lived with us for 6 months before, it becomes official. That's the way Colorado works, which I completely appreciate. But so we were celebrating, and she's like, "Let's go to Olive Garden." I'm like, "Okay, it's your choice. Why not? Go to Olive Garden. Delicious." Okay. I gotta admit, I forgot about how great the breadsticks were. I feel like at one point, like say 5 years ago, I went to Olive Garden and the breadsticks weren't that great. I want to say that they went back to the original recipe because they tasted great last night. Maybe I was really fucking hungry. I don't know. But, when you sit there and you look at what this guy did in Japan by only eating rice and vegetables, and then you go to a restaurant, let's say like Olive Garden, where the average entree is roughly, for an adult, right around $20. I mean, the rice and veggies are going to cost him per meal just over $1, I'm guessing. Something like that. So you start, if you subtract like going out to dinner and spending like $100 on the family, and instead you're spending $10, I mean, after a while, it does add up. The savings do. So I get it. I appreciate it, but I don't know if I could do that, because you think about 21 years of missing out on great experiences. And I know food's not everything, but listen, guys, I love a good fucking meal. How many times have you ate something and you're like, "Oh my God, this is beautiful"? Whether it's an amazing burger, whether it's, some interesting fish or something like that. I don't know. There's so many different things out there, like seafood. Oh my God, I love seafood. But you see what I'm saying? You miss out on these experiences because you're so concerned about saving money. Yes, I get it. But then 21 years later, you're like, okay, now I can start living. Now I can start doing some other things. I don't know. You kind of missed out on some opportunities. Even if you don't splurge and eat a whole bunch of nastiness, it's like, how many times I don't know. There's so much that can happen while from then to now, and you're trying to be so tight on your budget and just be like, no, I'm focused on, working my ass off, and then 20 some odd years later, then I'll relax. Then I'll start to enjoy life. Well, then you just missed out on a whole bunch of other shit because you had your nose on the grindstone. I don't know. It's a double-edged sword on that. And hopefully he'll end up being able to officially retire, even though the depletion of the yen and all that stuff. But that kind of sucks for him. I feel bad. Not really. I'm not going to lose any sleep over that. But good for him. But also, that's not my cup of tea. Especially the not doing AC or heating. Fuck that, you psycho. This is funny to me. Dr. Dre says he wants to try out for archery in the 2028 Olympics. He said he's been doing archery since junior high school and is seriously considering a tryout. Now, there's a video of him on social media. He walks up. He's like 20 feet away. It's not that far. He gets up and he shoots it and he gets a bullseye. Good for him. But the thing is, that's not, it's like a lot further that they shoot in the Olympics. Now, that being said, maybe he is good. Maybe he is that good. Like maybe he can go 100 yards or whatever the fuck it is, right? And then he can get a bullseye. That's cool. He's got 4 years to figure it out. The fact that he put it out there right now, makes me think that, yeah, as he said, I'm dead ass serious. Well, I hope he is. I think that would be neat. And I think archery is cool. I've never done it. I would love to do it. I watched that in the Olympics. It's phenomenal. It's super impressive. But sometimes they're really far away. And like I said, Dr. Dre was not that far from the target when he shot it in the video saying like how good he is. He does that from, 50 yards away. He does that from 100 yards away. Then I'm impressed. Be like, oh shit, man, this guy's going to be good. He's going to win a gold. And how cool would that be if in 2028, when the Olympics are in LA, that if he won a gold, how neat would that be? What a great career and turnaround. Just because we talk about Snoop Dogg and how his career has morphed into this fantastic thing where he is so respected, not just by Americans, but by so many people worldwide. And then if you take Dr. Dre, who's, had the same, beginning essentially and the same path, but then kind of, pump the brakes a little bit from going like Snoop did. But then all of a sudden, Dr. Dre's a Olympic medalist, gold medalist. That would be fucking awesome. How bizarre. How bizarre. And good for him for doing something like that. And if he's been doing it since junior high, I would imagine that he is pretty good. He just needs to show off a little bit more. Don't be doing it from like 10, 20 feet away. A lot of people can do that. I can't do it. No, never done it. I do that, I'm going to actually shoot somebody. It won't be good. They got a bunch of people looking at me going, what the fuck are you doing? I'll be like, I don't know. Everybody else was doing it. And I'm like, if those people could do it, I can do it.
What do you mean, you people?
I am so sorry. I didn't mean that. I didn't mean it. Oh my God, I am so embarrassed. Oh, I need to get my head right. If you want to get your head right, you need to head over to High Society Cannabis Dispo and Lounge. It's the only licensed cannabis bar in the state of Colorado. It works like an alcohol bar, but it's for cannabis. So swing by and you can purchase on site, and you know what? You can partake on site. How cool is that? You can get, let's see, they got a wide selection of flour, pre-rolls, concentrates, edibles, and they provide everything you need to consume it with. And what's cool is the environment. You go in there, they have a beautiful bar, but they also have great places to just lounge and hang out. And they got 7 big screen TVs so you can watch your favorite sports. You can watch a show, whatever. It's really cool. And they also got Nintendo Switches available to rent, tons of free board games to play. They also got a quarter arcade with pinball machines, vintage Street Fighter, Mortal Kombat, and more. High Society, it's a great place to just go chill and get your head right. They're open daily from noon to 10. Happy hour runs from noon to 4:20 Monday through Friday. Don't forget Tuesdays is Ladies' Day, and ladies get 20% off all day. Hey! Yeah. High Society Cannabis Dispo and Lounge. It's just 9 minutes from Coors Field. Like I said, it's open noon to 10. Got to be at least 21 or older to consume. No outside product. Just buy it there. High Society's at 7667 Washington Street. Just GPS to High Society. I posted this in a few places, whether it was Facebook or Twitter. Mark Zuckerberg is kind of making some headlines today. Not in a bad way. It's just something that is different. Mark Zuckerberg had a custom statue of his wife made, Priscilla Chan, and it's put up in his garden. And this, by the way, this isn't just him being weird or anything like that. That's like a Roman tradition of making sculptures of your wife. I asked my wife this, and she said no. I mean, come on. Why? First of all, it's pretty cool. I think that would be neat to have a statue of yourself. As long as it was good and they exaggerated muscles and stuff like that. Like, man, I am super toned. Like, because in 100 years, if not 200 years from now, people are like, who is this Scott the Huff fellow? I don't know, but he is ripped and he's got a hog on him. Oh, yeah. Hey, they don't need to know the truth. They don't. It's funny, though, because I posted this and I said, my wife won't let me do this for her, so I need to get one of me chopping wood or eating a sandwich. I think that would be funny, too, because, like, what would you have your sculpture doing? You know, do you want it to be, like I said, chopping wood, or, you know, I have a samurai sword, or, you know, I'm like doing a karate kick or something like that, or punching somebody? That I think it would be or eating a sandwich. It would be interesting. Like, your mind goes crazy. Like, what would I do? So I actually found a picture of some Greek, you know, god sculpture, put my face on it, tried to make my face match the pale marble. And I was like, this would look good on my front porch. By the way, I did, you know, put a smiley face over the wiener so nobody get offended and it didn't get pulled down. John responded, only if you could get it made at least 20 feet tall. People need to understand your power, Scott. That's absolutely right. If you're going to do it, don't get like a little mini figurine, or don't even make it like 6 feet tall. That shit needs to lord over the neighborhood. People are like driving down, be like, oh, that's a lovely house. Look at that yard. It's very well kept. Wonder if they have a gardener. Holy shit! Who lives there? Someone of great power. That's what it is. They're like, holy, and look at the size of that dong. He is quite powerful. And then it'd get broken up. That's like where the birds, it's like where the birds sit is on your junk. Gern wrote, I don't see the problem with that. That would be so hilarious. Warren wrote in,
Franks and beans! Frank and beans!
thanks, Warren. Franks and beans. How'd you get the beans over the Frank? I think that would be cool to have a statue of yourself. It would be weird. Listen, I wouldn't want it on my property. I wouldn't want to be the person that decided to go and have the statue made. But if somebody out there, wink, 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 wants to make a statue of somebody, wink, 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 why not me? If somebody else did it, I'd be honored for that, you know? But I don't know where the fuck they put me, by the dump or something. Right next to a string of porta potties. That's where my statue would make sense. Right? It's just me like giving a thumbs up, or me sitting on a toilet. I don't know. I'm trying to think of like different scenarios. It would be humorous. But it would be odd, because you see that every now and then. They did that with that soccer player, Ronaldo, where they made one of his, a bronze statue, but it looked like his eyes were like too small for the head, and it just looked funky. A lot of them don't look great, but some of them do. I mean, you better hope you have a good sculpturist. The sculpturist? Good sculptor, excuse me. You know, leading the charge on that. Because you want them to do a good job. At least do your best. Try to make me look handsome and buff. Okay. And I'll wear pants. Okay. I don't have to be showing off the twig and berries. Okay. Don't need to be doing that. But if I'm like on like a rock, like one foot's firmly on the ground, the other foot's on a rock, and it's kind of up and out. Maybe my hands on my hip, and then I have an axe over my other shoulder, and then I don't know, and then something funny like that. I think that'd be great. So you guys, if you could do a GoFundMe for a local artist to create a Scott the Huff sculpture, indoor giant painting, either one, and then it's me like wrestling a bull or something like that. Whatever, dealer's choice. Okay, and then we'll get it. We'll put it up somewhere. Maybe we'll find some random restaurant. If it's a painting, we'll find some random restaurant and just sneak in there and just put it up on the wall. That would be awesome. So awesome. Hey, I saw this morning. Actually, the reason I saw it this morning, and then I was reminded about it because I was tuning into 104.3 The Fan, and Mark Schlereth and his co-host for the day, Matt Smith, they were both on two different broadcast units doing the same show. And for some reason, I don't know if Mark was in the facility and Matt was somewhere else, but either way, Mark's equipment kept crashing because he was on the Broncos Wi-Fi at the training camp, which is different from Mile High Stadium. But the ironic thing is they were talking about all these upgrades at Mile High Stadium because the new ownership group spent over $100 million on upgrades at Mile High Stadium, which, by the way, do you know their lease at Empower Field at Mile High is up after the 2030 season? So I'm curious if they're going to stay there or not. And if they're not, imagine within a year, they're going to start coming up with plans to move and build somewhere else. So that's going to be interesting to keep an eye on. But that being said, so they're talking about all these upgrades, including Wi-Fi for the stadium, and then Schlereth's Wi-Fi goes out on his thing. It was funny, okay? So I'm texting Mark because he used to do this to me all the time when I was his producer. He'd be like, "Did you turn the power on?" So that's what I did. I was like, "Did you turn the power button on?" He's like, "Ha ha ha, no." But anyway, there was $500,000 of this was going towards expansion of the Ring of Fame Plaza located outside the south end zone. So that's kind of cool. So you'll see a few more faces out there. They might do some rearranging and some upgrades. So that's neat. They also added 3 new Colorado-themed murals on walls inside the stadium. They didn't say how much they paid for those, but I guarantee you they overpaid them because I could have done it for half the cost. Might not have looked good, but I would have done it, okay? Just give me time. Give me time and money, and we'll see what happens. They're like, "This is from a local artist." He is he blind? I don't understand. Why does it look so bad? Well, he's not what you would call good, but we saved a lot of money. Now, another $6.5 million was invested into the stadium Wi-Fi system for greater connectivity. That's when Schlereth's Wi-Fi cut out during the broadcast is when they started talking about this, which was funny. But at first I'm like, that's ridiculous, but it makes sense. Everybody's on Wi-Fi, everybody's on their devices, and so much of what goes on in the stadium as business goes, whether you got somebody slinging hot dogs or beers walking through the stands, they need connectivity and strong connectivity to Wi-Fi so they can get money from people using, the credit card machines. So that makes sense. And But the part of me is just like, how many people are on their phones instead of watching the game, which drives me nuts. And I've been to a few Bronco games where people didn't want to stand up and cheer. It was this last the time I'm going to bring up is it was at the new stadium, which was when it was new. It was like 2 or 3 years in. My brother still lived here in the United States, and we're in the South stands. Broncos were on defense, and everybody's on their feet. We're standing up, cheering, trying to make noise for the defense, and they were taking on the Chiefs, by the way. So we're screaming and standing up. A lady tugged on my coat hood, and she said, "Please sit down." And I go to sit down because I'm like, I didn't know what to do. And then my brother's like, "Fuck that shit." And he starts screaming. And then she starts pulling a fit and starts mouthing off. And she's like, "We pay good money for these." And then my brother said something to the effect of, "Who gives a shit? Who goes to a fucking football game and just wants to sit on their ass?" And then he just starts screaming like, "Woo! Go Broncos!" I don't understand that. There's several types of people at football games where you question, it's like, why are you even here? If you're not going to stand up and cheer, why are you here? Now I get it. Some people want to sit there and maybe they enjoy, like at baseball games, some people like to sit there and do the box score. That's their thing. They like doing that shit. I don't get it. Don't get it. But if you're going to do that, don't bitch and complain when everybody around you is enjoying the game in their way by screaming and cheering on their team. So that goes back to the Wi-Fi system. While it's good, it is adding the element of how many people are going to be watching the game on their phones or devices while the game's going on. It's weird. It's going to be adding more distraction to some people. Overall, I don't think it's that big of a deal. Overall, it will be nice if you go to the game and you can connect to the Wi-Fi system and, you got strong signal in there. Whether it's for a game or, a concert or whatever. Because everybody knows it'd be better just to live stream the game or the live stream the concert. I hate when people do that with the concerts. Like, nobody gives a shit. Nobody's going to watch and be like, "Oh, they're in the upper decks and they videoed the whole concert. I got to watch this. Got to watch this." But that's cool that they're doing upgrades. So look for that. I'm sure most stadiums around the league are doing that this year, whether it's the Broncos or whoever you follow. And that's neat. But it is interesting to think about with that lease going, being up after the 2030 season, not that far away. What are the Broncos going to do? And at what point do they need to make that decision? Because it depends where they end up going. If they stay put, obviously they stay put. But if they're going to move, they got to figure out where they're going to move. They got to figure out how they're going to build, and there's a lot that goes into it. And all that stuff, if they decide to move, that's not going to be public knowledge until they have more of a game plan set. But that's going to ruffle a lot of feathers if they take the Broncos outside of the city of Denver. It's one of the few stadiums in the actual namesake. Okay? Start doing, looking around. You see where the stadiums are located. It's one of the few. And that would be hard. And it's been there forever. But if all of a sudden, let's say, like the one that always pops out in my head is where Dick's Sporting Good Park is. I think that's technically Commerce City. and it's near the Arsenal, and there's so much on the other side, not on the side where the Arsenal is, but on I guess that would be the south side of Dick's Sporting Goods Park. There's a lot of open space. Would they put it out there and just make it a huge complex? I don't know. But then it's more of the Commerce City Broncos. Even though they would stick with Denver, it is in the Denver metro area. But it'd be weird. And it would affect small business that it's currently around the current stadium. So it would cause a lot of issues. It would. And there'd be a lot of pushback on it. But it would be very interesting to see what they did. Would they just tear down the existing one and for a season or two just rebuild on the existing site, but for a year or two until that's fully up and operational, do they go play down in Colorado Springs at Air Force Academy or something like that? I don't know. It's very interesting to think about. Very interesting to think about. And I have mixed feelings if they were to move. It could be cool. They could have a better environment out there, but I mean, you're taking it from Denver. I don't know. I don't know if I like the idea of them moving out of Denver. I like the idea better of them if anything, you just scrap the current one, scrape it down to the ground, and then just rebuild and go from there. And then for the time period of when they're not at that stadium while it's being built, you go play somewhere else. There's plenty of places. Go play at a high school field. That would be wild. Wild. But we'll see. We'll see. There's a lot of stuff, a lot of moving parts on that one. And obviously, they don't need to make a decision now. They're going to be weighing the pros and cons of which is the better option. And you got to remember, it's all about business. At the end of the day, it's about business. And how do they continue to be a profitable organization and have a good product? And how do they cater to the fans? What's best for the fans' environment? So we'll see. We'll see. It's very interesting. Hey, you know what? You guys are amazing. Thank you guys so much for joining the show. You guys are amazing. I can't say it enough. I appreciate each and every one of you, except for that one guy.
Right, as always.
That guy is just weird, okay? Everybody knows it. We all point at him and go, ooh, I don't know about that guy. Anyway, you guys are fantastic. Have a wonderful day. Hopefully you smiled a little bit in this episode. That's really what it's about. If anything, when you see your kids today, tell them a good dick joke, okay?
What the fuck?
Because guess what's going to happen if you tell your kids a good dick joke? They're going to say it at school. They are. And then you're going to get called into the principal's office. Anyway, thanks for listening. Make sure you hit that subscribe button. Go ahead and give it a nice review if you could, please. Big thanks to High Society, Cannabis Dispo and Lounge, as well as Bet Online. It's DeHuff Uncensored. You guys are amazing. Have a fantastic day. Try not to be a dick today. Let's continue to move forward. I'll talk to you next.